Alright, it's time to do an update on the truck. Some of these videos might be a little bit out of sequence, but these update videos will be correct. It's the first week of February. The truck is not on the road, although that wasn't a hard deadline, that was just a goal. We've been waiting on some parts. That's been a little frustrating, but that's normal. We almost have the fenders done being mounted. The new bearings are in the rears, the seals, new studs. New tires are on, all new airlines back here, everything, the valves. Here's the new transmission. It is a 9 series 13 speed. Because of the new style yoke, we decided to replace the entire drive shaft back to the rear end and then put a new yoke on the rear end instead of cutting the old drive shaft and just welding a new yoke on the front of it. We decided it was better just to go all new front to back. And since we're updating the transmission, we are putting in a new stick with the 2-piece bushing style setup in it, which will make servicing this thing a lot easier in the future. I rebuilt that heater core. I'm going to pull it out and do a little more wiring on it that I forgot to do the first time around, and put a pipe on it. This is how the foam we use is shipped. You will need a ton of these to do a truck the way that we're doing it. I would think in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 of these packs. So we've got a lot of them kicking around right now. I'm out of Noiko, but luckily that was just in the right amount, and you can't get Noiko right now because of the country it's made in. It has a lot of embargoes on it. I got the new seats in. These are the Knoedler Air Cheifs in red with the puffy seat option. The puffy seat adds a lot of padding to it, including in the sides here, because there is no adjustment on the air controls for here. So if you like a bit of a narrower, tighter seat, then the puffy seat option is great. It also improves the looks of it by having these bars in there. They're a very nice seat. They also have removable headrests because I like a low back seat and my wife likes a headrest, so when she's along I can put the headrests in, and any other time I can have the headrest out of the way to make getting in and out of the bunk easier. We painted and mounted the new air cleaner mounts from Dirks. Remember, when you install this passenger side air cleaner mount, you need to have the top rear bolt installed, because you can't get at it behind this scoop. And you also need to have the heater core removed to be able to get at the nut behind this bolt. The other 3 bolts are easy enough to access from either the front or under here. We are updating the water pump housing to a newer style, and there was a broken manifold stud, so this is all getting redone. And if you can see up there, the bus glass is in. I just need to patch the old visor mount holes at the top and put the chrome locking strip in. Then I can finish installing the new electric wipers, the new center pillar that Dirks makes, and the RLK little window visor. I have the Dirks double square headlights mounted with aftermarket bulbs. I will have a separate video on that. I also got the new carpet installed. I just bought an 8x10 piece of red shag carpet, or burgundy shag carpet, from Wayfair. And it is very close to the original. It's not quite as tight as the original was, but I really like the look of it. I think it'll look really nice with red lights on there. I gotta clean all of that up yet. I also rebuilt the cab HVAC. That's a new heater core, and that front panel is new. We have a custom stainless tray that we put in under the AC. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you what we do here. So we're building this truck to be able to be comfortable in anything from 40 below to 40 above, and that requires a ton of insulation. So we have a really good combination of insulation and noise deadening material in here. On the floor we have this layer of Noiko, which is a butyl foil stick-on product. It's pretty easy to work with. And then a layer of this closed cell foam with a layer of foil on it, an adhesive back. On that we have stuck this mass-loaded vinyl. And that layer of closed cell foam and mass-loaded vinyl is a mat that's all in here. It's in sections because we want to be able to take the plywood out of the floor for that access to the transmission. So I have one section here where the pedals are, one section here where the plywood is, and one section here for the rear cab. On top of that, we have the carpet with the layer of closed cell foam stuck to the carpet. Now, after everything's installed, there's a chrome strip that sits in front of the seats going across there. And if you had to, you could cut the carpet along that seam. So we have this designed that we can do that if we ever have to. That way you can remove the front carpets without having to take the seats out. And this combination of Neuco, closed cell foam, mass-loaded vinyl, closed cell foam is what we do behind the dash and in the cab corners. The roof is just a layer of Neuco and as much closed cell foam as you can stack in there. Now in here, behind this carpet, is an insulation board that is separate from the cab. Factory from Peterbilt, it is a layer of open cell foam with a piece of aluminum that runs side to side, and your heater core goes through that. We're not using any open cell foam in this truck. Everything is closed cell. So from the lower firewall out, we have, so the Neuco is stuck to the firewall, and then stuck to that aluminum sheet we have a layer of closed cell foam, a layer of mass-loaded vinyl, a layer of closed cell foam, and then that aluminum panel. On the outside of that aluminum panel, we have a layer of closed cell foam stuck to the carpet. So working towards the firewall, it's a layer of carpet, a layer of closed cell foam, that aluminum sheet, closed cell foam, mass-loaded vinyl, closed cell foam, and then Neuco. That sounds like an awful lot of material, and it is, but it's insanely quiet, and it keeps the temperature in the cab. As an example of how quiet this setup is, the blue truck is the same way, and when I was driving it a couple days ago, a friend of mine wanted a video clip of the Jakes, and I had to tell him that even though it's just has a resonator in it and it's 5-inch straight pipes, I can't get any sound of the Jake brakes hardly inside, at least not good on video. Even with the windows down, having this much insulation around, there's no noise coming in through the corners, there's no noise coming in anywhere. It's crazy quiet. I didn't even realize how loud that truck was until it drove past one day and I could actually hear it. But driving it, you barely hear anything. I'm only insulating this corner because this is where the wiring harness comes up and also where the fridge and filing cabinets are going to go. But it was not in the, it really wasn't in our time frame to gut the rest of the bunk here. We'll do that this summer sometime when we have more time to work at it. So I just did kind of this corner. A big problem with these bunks, and I would assume the early 379 bunks, is there's no support in these corners for the cabinets. So if I look at this side, this big black piece here is a fascia, and the actual cabinet itself is a separate box fastened with a few screws, such as those 3 there. And that box is sitting on this pillar, and it's sitting on an angle bracket on the wall there that you can't see. Over here, that's the angle bracket for the one side, and there's another bracket running across here. But the problem you have, and I have a hard time understanding how Peterbilt didn't catch this, but the problem you have is the strength in this whole cabinet is all through a piece of plastic that is riveted on this ledge, and it is riveted on this ledge, and as soon as there's any movement or wear in those rivets, the rivets wear out, the box sits on the steel, and it just rubs its way through the box in no time. Well, this is actually aluminum. So on all of these old bunks, these cabinet plastics are just destroyed because of this bad design. So we bent up this aluminum pan, and now it will take all of that force and this is kind of our first iteration of it. So we might make some changes in the future. But now we can rivet this, and all of the vibration and everything will be taken up by this aluminum pan, and we can make sure that the plastics don't get damaged any farther. We are going to plastic weld them, patch them up, and fix them, but now we don't have to worry about that happening again. So it's just this thin pan. I'm not sure what gauge it is. Not much at all. I don't know, that might be a 16th or a little better. And if you have one of these old trucks, you really should. You should just do this. This plastic fascia here will cover this lip, so you won't see the shiny aluminum once everything's installed. But I can't wait to get this thing finished and get out on the road with it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, that's where we are as of the first week of February. Thanks for watching.